So right now, our state legislature is essentially on vacation for 2 weeks. They were unable to pass a budget when they wanted to by the end of last week and decided that people had vacations planned. So they were just going to take them and go into recess. And so a number of lawmakers are out of state and others are trying to work with each other and find a way to reach an agreement so they can return at some point in June and pass a budget.
Now, the governor has also, he's part of this because he said, don't send me anything unless you're ready for a budget. So, where is he in all this stalemate? Because there is some concern that some issues are not being addressed.
Right. The governor last week, right on Friday, heading into Memorial Day weekend, decided to veto all 22 bills on his desk. These included some bipartisan measures that had taken a full session to work on. They included some really partisan bills, like ones banning critical race theory or preventing election officials from sending out ballots to people who hadn't requested to vote by mail that Republicans really wanted to pass and that his Republican base really wanted to pass. And so essentially, the governor has made almost everybody in the legislature mad at him at the same time that he needs to get at least Republican lawmakers to agree to his budget plans.
When it comes to numbers between Democrats and Republicans, the chambers are pretty close. So, what's the likeliness of actually getting what they need to get done June 10th when they return?
It's going to be very difficult. So this year, the legislature is the smallest margins it's ever had in both chambers. There are 16 out of 30 senators are Republicans, and 31 out of 60 House members are Republicans. Essentially, that means that every single Republican lawmaker down here has a veto power of his or her own. And so, if a single one of them doesn't like this budget plan or anything else, and with the budget, we know that Democrats are not going to support this plan because it includes a massive tax cut that primarily benefits the wealthiest Arizonans. It means that every single Republican is able to make demands and sometimes conflicting demands, which is why we're still in this stalemate.
I've been following your work, and as I understand it, just because you're a Republican in the state legislature doesn't mean you're going to vote with fellow Republicans, correct?
Correct. So we have it kind of runs the gamut, and we see this with our budget issues in particular. There are a number of Republicans down here who looked at this proposed budget that would spend $12.8 billion and said, no, I'm a Republican. That's way too much spending. Cut the pork. You have others who are also Republicans in the same party who looked at this budget and the tax cut and said, that's cutting way too much in taxes. We need to spend more on education, on roads, on various other priorities. And so they haven't come to an agreement with each other.
The flat tax seems to be the one key issue that really caused this most recent division. What's the likeliness of these lawmakers reaching a budget by the time they have to, which is at the end of the month?
Anything is possible, but given that it is June, they only have until June 30th to pass a budget, and they're not any closer this week than they were last week or the week before. It's starting to seem possible that we could be here in another few weeks asking whether they're going to pass a budget or whether we'll face something like a government shutdown, something the state hasn't really had to fear for over a decade.
And according to your work, it's possible that that could happen if they don't reach that budget by June 30th.
Yes, it's entirely possible. It's also possible that even if they don't reach a budget, the governor finds a way to the governor and the legislature compromise on something like a skinny budget or stopgap funding, just enough to keep the state running while they continue trying to work on the full budget during a special session.
Okay, and remind us, since we've not seen this before, what's likely to happen if there is a government shutdown in the state of Arizona?
If there's a shutdown, it would be a lot like what you see at the federal level, where we've seen federal government shutdowns several times over the past decade, and essentially all state employees who are considered not essential, all state services that are considered non-essential would stop. You may not get your state parks would be closed. You would probably still have police and state troopers on the road, but a lot of other services would be delayed. State employees wouldn't be getting paid.
Arizona's already in the national spotlight because of the audit that is currently ongoing. Can it really, as a state, afford this when it comes to the optics of government?
That's a decision that lawmakers and the governor will certainly have to keep on their minds as they're trying to negotiate their budget.
All right, Julia Shamway, Arizona Capital Times reporter, thank you for your work.
Thank you.